Okay.
Good evening and welcome back to Chasin Prophecy on the Oracle Talk Radio Network, where we discuss everything and anything beyond the scope of normal. Tonight, we have again John Ventry as our feature, and he's our co-host tonight. So good to see you, John. I don't see you, but I can hear you probably.
Well, how come my pictures? Why aren't I live?
I
have my mic and my camera's up.
I just see your logo.
I didn't do that.
I don't know. I don't see you. You probably have to hit video on the 3 dots, I believe. But it doesn't matter. If you don't want to show your face today.
I don't see a video thing on there.
It's like there's 3 dots.
On the right?
Yeah, on the right. And there's a microphone. Yeah, you don't see it?
I say microphone. Oh, wait.
You can go to settings too.
There we go. I'm live now.
But you're black. You're all black screened.
All you see is my head like a ghost.
Well, here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Yeah. Well, it's good to see your beautiful face.
That's it. I hear that all the time.
You hear that all? That's good. That's good. These days, I don't know. Getting up there in the can't do so much makeup and filters, but it's technology. Yeah. So tonight we have a guest. She's not coming on until 8:30, and her name is Diana MaAra. I think it's MaAra. So I'll probably screw that up. She's called Divine. Now, she's not only into the soul, she's into soul guides and galactic sharmas and stuff like that. I know how much you love it. And she has a best-selling book on Amazon, Mastering Quantum Creation. But we will get back to her when she comes on, and I'll say this over. But today, there's a lot going on in the UFO world. I don't know if you've been keeping up on the 3-Eye Atlas, guys. Anybody out there, please chime in if you come on. John, I know how much you love this subject.
Somebody told me there's 3 of them now. Is there 3?
There's it's weird. There's like one behind the other, and then it just crossed, and NASA, everybody's talking about on X. They're making fun of it. I wish I could have that. NASA published these pictures that, my grandkids' camera could probably do better. And people were making fun of it, saying it's like they made like scribble like a kid would do. Like, this is probably what it looks like. I'll show you. I wish I had my colored pencils. I wish I could find.
It sounds like a squadron coming.
This is what the pictures.
It's 3 craft in a row coming.
This is what they were making fun. That's what it looks like. That's the kind of pictures that.
I draw like that when I'm drunk.
But they did it really pretty. They had like red. They have all different colors. But I have some videos to show you, because not only there's some really cool UFO pictures that we caught there on, there's one in Strange Lights over Fraser Coast in Queens Island. I don't know where that's in Australia.
Sounds like.
Yeah. And then there's there's like a disc-shaped UFO in Wisconsin. So I got some really cool pictures to show. But we're gonna go right to the videos, and I want your take on it, what you think, what are your thoughts on these videos? Because I don't know. We're gonna go from the first one, which is my favorite. It's that doctor, the one the one that you care for. But we're gonna have to play it. And I want your thoughts on that. Okay, here we go.
Is he now convinced that it's not alien technology? Let's ask him.
Avi
My
Loeb.
next guest spent months pushing for these images to be released, so is he now convinced that it's
Sorry
not
about that
alien
little dot. My
technology?
computer
Let's
was
ask
going
him.
crazy.
Harvard professor Avi Loeb joins me now. Okay, Avi, you've been telling me for months now that you think this might be an alien object. Is this a disappointment?
No, because there wasn't much new information released. In fact, we knew most of the details that were mentioned today from the scientific sharing of data from the Hubble Space Telescope, the Webb Space Telescope. And what they uncovered was the skin of the object, basically that some ices and perhaps some dust that evaporates when the sun illuminates that surface. But even if you consider a spacecraft that travels through the cold interstellar medium, it would accumulate over time ices and dust on it that would be released, and you don't need large quantities to explain that data, and you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover.
So wait, so are you saying it could still be an alien object?
Well, I'm saying the data that was shared today did not provide us with new information, and in fact the NASA officials did not address the basic puzzles about this object. The mass of the object is 1,000 times more than the previous one, 1,000,000 times more than the first one. Why are we so lucky to receive such a huge package? Why is it flying in the plane of the planets? Why is there much more nickel than iron in what it sheds? There are lots of puzzles that were not even mentioned. And, you know, as Sherlock Holmes noted, there is nothing more deceptive than an obvious fact. They basically say that it's a familiar comet, but are not willing to address those anomalies. They didn't mention any of them, and there are no solutions as of yet. In fact, the most exciting data was collected in recent days by amateur astronomers. They did not invest $1 billion in space telescopes. They used amateur astronomer telescopes that you can buy in thousands of dollars, and they provided us with insights about the jets coming from 3I Atlas. We now have an opportunity in the coming days, the coming weeks, to observe these jets and figure out where they originate, and conclusively say whether they come from pockets of ice on the surface of a rock or from thrusters.
Okay, what are your thoughts, John?
I think Avi Loeb already wrote his book and he made $1 million. So he's got that smile on his face. You know, at this point, he's trying to tell us this could still be aliens, but maybe it's not alien. Sounds like he's been hanging with Giorgio. So, you know, it's all, as the governor says in Pennsylvania, you know, he likes to use the word shite. You know, shite.
Okay.
At the end. And this guy is full of shite.
You think he's full of shite? No, I have some other videos on this subject. So we're going to go. There's 2 more on this subject, and we have 2 other ones. And here's this guy.
Through our sun when it passed by it, and NASA abruptly ended a live stream when an alleged UFO passed by just a day before this announcement. And the too long didn't watch summary of it is it's 100% a comet and their pics suck. Shocker. Like, really, these are the best pics they got at this point? But in more interesting news you actually care about that NASA's not going to talk about, we have these alleged leaked videos of 3I Atlas, which are probably fake, but they're pretty fun to look at, showing clear footage of what appears to be an alien mothership, but take it with a grain of salt. Our sun now has a massive butterfly-shaped coronal hole 35 times the size of Earth on its surface, conveniently rotating towards us just shortly after 3I Atlas flew by the sun on the other side. Now, coronal holes are actually pretty common and are just areas on the sun's surface where the temperature is cooler and the density of the sun's plasma is lower, usually resulting in magnetic fields shooting out into space. But this is the biggest one we've had in a while, and the fact that it happened just shortly after 3I Atlas flew by our sun leads some people to believe that it, like, I don't know, extracted energy from our sun to power its ship. Amateur telescopes from Ray's Astrophotography captured this video of 3I Atlas, showing what appears to be multiple objects rotating around each other as it moves through space, similar to that European Space Agency video we got a month ago. Here's another non-NASA video showing the interstellar object with a similar effect. What is going on with this thing. Pausing Ray's video and enhancing it shows us this, which is definitely something they don't want you looking at. Here are some more taken by the Italian Virtual Telescope project, which aren't very clear, but we can see that something is happening there. Now, a day before NASA's announcement, they had a live stream where a triangle-shaped UFO appeared on screen right before they cut off the stream. And it just comes out of nowhere, almost looking like it has some sort of cloaking technology enabled. But people are quick to point out that the camera was actually facing Earth, and these are just a reflection of city lights on the planet. Maybe that makes sense, maybe it doesn't, but that sure does look like a triangle UFO to me. 3i Atlas continues to get closer to Earth and will reach its closest approach to our planet on December 19th, 2025. So maybe we'll get better pics of it by then. But in conclusion, NASA has told us their answer on it. It's a comet and they're sticking to that. So it either is really just a comet or it's an alien spaceship that they've determined is not going to invade us and is just passing through our solar system for like reconnaissance or whatever. Because if you think about it, if it was some sort of alien mothership, they have no reason at all to tell us that it is one. All that's going to do is cause mass worldwide panic. If it's just passing through our solar system with no intention of invading us, they're better off telling us it's a comet. But maybe it's just a comet, relax. 3i Atlas will continue to fly by Jupiter in March 2026, where the Juno satellite could hopefully take some better pics of it than what we get here on Earth. But even if they do, they're probably just going to edit the pics before they release them to the public to make it look like whatever they want it to look like. But until then, guys, I think we're safe. For now. NASA just...
So what do you think of that one?
I think it's all crap. You know, ufology is de-evolving again into stupidity and not science. And, you know, those lights, anytime you film something from a distance and you got clouds, you know, there's dust, there's all kinds of stuff, you know, it's going to make the light look funny. And there was no craft following it. And you
don't think that was a craft? You think it was just dust or what?
I don't know. And the other one, the craft he showed was clearly animated or something. It's ridiculous. I got to get my hat. Can you give me 1 second? Okay. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds.
Okay. I don't know. I kind of think there's something to it, you know. It's just the way that it's moving so fast, the way it has it speeds up. If it was a you know, just a comet, it would just stay the same speed, I would assume. But what do I know? I don't know.
You know, they knew that the light in front of it, they know that it's a comet. Here's my hat. I created this.
What's it say? Wait,
make ufology great again.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. It's not a Trump hat, so if some kid tries to pull it off my head, you know, he's going to get punched in the jaw. But it's my UFO hat.
Well, let's see. I have a couple more. Let me make sure I get the right one. The one I want to talk about is that one guy. Where is it going? It's not going to play. Oh,
make
come
ufology
on.
great again, like when I was the state director of MUFON.
Yeah, really. Okay, where is it? Why isn't it playing? Oh, come on. I wanted that one on.
You know, when you were a field investigator for us, we really, you know, made this chapter, you know, into one of the best that MUFON had.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, well, I retired in 2018.
Well, that's you shouldn't have retired.
Yeah, well, you know, they shouldn't be run by progressives. You know, progressives and I don't mix.
To an idea that may be true, but we're giving events that are not.
Hey, what
true
do you think? What he's saying? I think what he's saying is.
I don't know if I'm being clear. I am concerned right now that there are fake psyops, that there are things being done by the United States government to put fear and confusion into the American and global public about UAP for an agenda. So are you concerned at all that unprecedented events like this, that make zero sense, that they just think we're idiots, and that all of a sudden they're trying to create this fear of these unidentified unknowns, unknown origin, when it's so easy to track? George and I directly know and have been exposed to footage of high capability of looking at these types of things. That is fact. So, like, are you concerned at all that this is
concerned?
Well, I agree.
I'm worried.
I agree with him, and I'm the one who's been saying this since 2017. This is a complete deception what they're doing. You know, and if you get biblical, this is the start of the apostasy. Whatever they're going to tell you, the big deception to pull people away, to follow something, you know, whatever they tell us the message from the aliens is. This is a complete deception. And I don't believe anything that they tell us from this.
Yeah, I don't believe anything the government tells us. They'll tell us what they want. They'll cover up everything. And because a lot of it, you know, like they say, like Anna Paulina said, this because they don't want to cause a panic. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm so desensitized. If I saw an alien spaceship, that's okay. You know, hi. I don't know.
You know, if I saw an alien, I'd ask him Burger King or McDonald's, which you prefer, you know?
Yeah, seriously, I don't think I would be scared or anything. I don't know. It's like seeing Bigfoot, you know, running across your lawn. Yeah. Well, maybe
I'd be more worried about Bigfoot because he could crush you. Yeah. I've seen videos of silverback gorillas. Holy cow. Hitting like a lion. You know how they come down, ba-boom, ba-boom? Yeah. I've seen them hit lions and just smash them into the ground. They are like 20 times stronger than we are. I would never want to mess with a silverback.
No, I wouldn't either. It's like last night, did you see the fog that was coming in? It was so dense and so thick. And then I'm in my backyard, you know, taking my dog out. I'm like, I didn't like it. It was a weird, surreal feeling. Like, is this normal fog too? I mean, there might be, how do you know that? Like,
if I knew that, I would have come over your house with a bell, like from the Fog movie.
No, it was so spooky. You know, a big yard, and you see this fog, and if you would see this, if say Bigfoot would run by, he would be terrified. Now that would terrify me more than an alien. Well, maybe. It depends. If I saw fog and an alien spaceship coming over my head, I don't know.
What time was the fog? Because
it was like all night, and it was actually it was today too during the day. I don't know what it looks like out there now, but it was so dense. And I have security.
You're a few miles. You're a few miles north of me.
Yeah, you're just in Greensburg. I mean, it's like 20 minutes from where I am.
Yeah, there was no fog last night. I taught the UFO class at the college last night, and I drove home.
I wonder why you didn't get it. It started at probably, I'd say 9 o'clock, because I have security cameras. I thought it was raining outside because the fog, you can see
in the middle of the night. It rained hard,
and then it was, look. I went out and I said, "Oh my, it was dense," and it was foggy all day today. I thought it was a yucky ass day. It was
not
really
down
creepy.
Here. Not down here at all. Oh, you know what? It might have been foggy this morning when I left to go to LA Fitness to play racquetball. There were 3 major accidents on Route 30, all within between 119, within a mile of Route 119 on 30s. I don't know what happened. There were cars all over the place, like they hit black ice.
Well, that might have been because of the fog. I mean, because it was weird. I don't know. Like if you were going through the mountains, I wouldn't be scared. But I have one more video I want to show you. And this is what a guy filmed, what he saw. But I hope it comes out. I hope that this is it. I have so many videos here. I have to see which one this is. And of course, it's not going to play. Is it going to play? Let me try this one. There. Now, look at that.
I would say that we had a video like that from Altoona years ago in 2008, and all it was what it was explained to me was like an overexposure, and it makes whatever the light source is makes it look too big.
I'm not sure why the video is not going. It says it is, but it's not.
Yeah,
and it's really neat though, because
I don't know what the dot in the middle there is. Yeah, that black and red dot.
Yeah, I don't know. That's probably mine. I wonder why it didn't turn out. That's weird. Let me see. Let me see if I have another one like it. I might have it. Let's turn this one off.
I'm reading a pretty cool book right now that one of the students in the class gave me called The Haunted Mesa.
The Haunted Mesa.
Yeah, it's in the 4 points there where Utah, Colorado, all those four states meet. But it's a Hollow Earth book, but it's well written.
Oh, okay.
I've only read about 40 pages today, and it's something from under the earth, and it's well written. So I actually enjoy it. I'm going to go back and keep reading it every day till I finish it.
That was nice they gave it to you to read.
Yeah, I got to give it back. I only got 2 more classes. Well, there's no class next week, and then 2 more. So I got 3 weeks to finish reading it.
Well, that's good. So there's a lot of people in the class?
No, 11. That's it.
That's a good size.
I don't know how the school determines how much you charge, because it's like $39 to attend the class. I thought that was kind of expensive,
Yeah, that is pretty expensive. Now, these are the shots that were in Wisconsin, I believe. Or is that Wisconsin? Or is that the one?
That's probably a thing of cheese. Yeah, Wisconsin cheese. Like the cheese heads, they're well known for cheese.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean to show you that. Then this is another one. This one was by the United States military. That looks kind of suspicious. That looks like that could be something.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I got them all. Yeah, that's it. Okay, let's how do I stop this now? Okay, it looks like our guest popped in.
Okay.
I believe she's in here. Let me make sure she is. Okay, let's go back, and I'm going to tell you she is let me make sure I have her bio up here. She snuck in on me before I could. So I probably will screw up her name, and I apologize ahead of time if I do. Diana MaAra Divine, and she's not only a soul guide, she's a galactic shaman. She's a #1 author on Amazon. Her new release, Master in Quantum Creation. For more than 25 years, Diane has walked in a path shaped by profound awakenings, multidimensional downloads she gets, and what she calls the scorpion years. And I'd like to know about that. A time of ego, death, and spiritual purification that led to her phoenix rising. And she doesn't just teach quantum creation, she embodies it. So tonight she'll be sharing her insights, multidimensional awakenings, reclaiming your conscious cosmic power, and the true nature of co-creating with the quantum field. We're going to learn all about that tonight. And here we go. Let me make sure. Diana, welcome. Divina, pull this up a little bit closer. Diana Divine, welcome to Chasin Prophecy. I'm so glad you're here.
Hi. To be here, I go by Diana, so it's Diana Divine.
Diana, how do you say your last name?
Divine, like
Divine.
Divinity. Yeah,
Divinity.
Diana
That's
MaAra
nice.
Divine. Yes, the middle name is hard to pronounce because it's a spiritual Egyptian name. So
it's a beautiful name.
And where are you
John.
transmitting from?
I am in New Jersey.
Oh, you're in New Jersey. I thought you were in Australia. Huh, how did I get that one?
I could be. I am everywhere all at once.
Maybe. What part?
Me.
What part of New Jersey?
It's like I would say more North New Jersey.
Yeah,
Central.
I used to live in Roxbury, right off of Route 80. I think it was exit 29 or something like that. Roxbury.
Okay, close enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Close enough.
Okay.
So tell our audience, what exactly would you call, so you said divine, like you quantum spiritual, give us a little background on how where did you get this from? Were you born with it?
My journey, I mean, it's been an evolving journey. I wouldn't say I was born with it, but I am very ancient soul. So since I was a little kid, I actually wasn't born here. I was born in Soviet Union at the time. It was in Minsk, Belarus. I was always very perceptive of people and what's happening. My mom thought I was always much older than I am. And over the years, when I was 10 years old, we actually moved to Israel. So I grew up in the land of Jesus, say right next to Nazareth. So in those, near those mountains in the valley. And yeah, so I had a really interesting childhood. You know, Israel is a beautiful country, but it's very interesting polarization that happens still till, you know, what we see in the news today. Back then it was a Gulf War when we moved. There was suicide bombing and many things that happened there that definitely shook me up as a teenager, but also helped me to awaken. And so it started my journey. I came here to United States. I stayed, I went back, and many, many journeys around that awoke my memories of who I am and my past lives, my galactic life. And that's what I do today. I help others to remember.
It's amazing. So you're Russian, but
Russian Israeli, I guess I would say officially. Yeah, Russian
okay.
Israeli.
So your ethnic background is Russian, and you moved to Israel. Now, were your parents from Israel, or was their work brought them there?
No,
I'm
we're Jewish,
confused.
so we immigrated.
Okay, so you're Jewish. So did you just want to go back? Did you? Wait, I'm so confused. Were your parents from Israel before they had you?
No.
Or not?
No.
Okay, I was just wondering how you got to Israel from Russia.
Well, in 1990, 1989, there was a huge migration of Jews moving all around the world, many coming to the United States, some went to Israel. Many kind of were feeling there were things happening in Soviet times that about to collapse the structure of Soviet Union, and did, like a year and a half after. So it was something that was already perceived by my parents, and it was just the right thing to do at the time during, you know, time of change. So so we were supposed to come here actually to this, and then this is Reagan administration. And you can remember those years. But yeah, I mean, the journeys that we have on a soul level, they're very interesting. Like now that I'm sitting here and I've been in States for 30 years, like I think about all those things that prepared me to what I know today, and even language. Like Russian has a lot of rolling R's, and I channel a lot of multidimensional star languages. One of them is Lyran, and it actually uses a lot of and for me to be able to roll the R's the way I can, I actually had to learn that language. So, you know, so it's really interesting how it like catches up later. It's like the soul in each incarnation, I believe, chooses the experiences, and almost like I knew that I'm going to end up here, but I needed to go through the journeys that I did to arrive where I am today. Yeah.
It's very, very interesting. Very interesting. So Diana, what is the
Diana.
Scorpion years? Oh, Diana. How do you, Diana? Or can I just call you Divine? Is it how you
Divine.
Divine.
Diana. It's like goddess Diana. Yeah, the goddess of hunting. And today is new moon in Scorpio, right? So as we're recording this, and new moon in Scorpio is all about the shadows and releasing of the shadows. And it's also about the Diana, the goddess of hunting in Greek mythology. So she goes to the woods, and you know, she is the moon goddess, and she works with the spirit animals. So the Scorpion years, actually, for me, those were the years in Israel. Those were the tough years of my childhood where I perceived a lot of death. And I actually was on the bus stop in Afula in 1994, before any suicide bombings actually ever happened yet in the region. And this voice, I was there with my girlfriend, I was 14 years old. This voice inside of me started telling me to leave the bus stop. When we were a really busy hub, a lot of voices coming in and out. And I started fighting that voice. I couldn't understand like what was happening, why. And luckily I listened, and I pulled my friend out. We crossed the street, turned the corner, and we heard a boom. We didn't understand what was going on. We thought it was like a plane crash. But actually what happened was the first suicide bombing that happened in Israel was on that bus stop. So I started questioning reality. So for me, according to shamanism, there's 3 phases of transformation one sometimes goes through. The scorpion, in what we kind of working through tonight, those dense energies, the death energies, the shadow aspects of ourselves, the things that are heavy, right? The traumas. For me, it took years to really heal that trauma. I didn't even know I had it until many years later that day really left remnants. And but we've eventually, as we descend into like that density, there's also energy there. And as we lift it up, we go into the next phase, which is called in shamanism eagle. Native Americans using the eagle in a symbology. And that's the bird that kind of flies higher over the mountains, has the perspective. So for me, like getting to United States, being in a very different environment where there's no politics involved and polarization over the land, those were the eagle days where I was able to now heal and explore other things, right? Explore other people from all over the world, explore in college Zen and Buddhism, start meditating, do green tea ceremonies, be really in presence. And eventually you come to this place in the 3rd phase, the phoenix. And the phoenix is that bird that goes into the fire. It transmutes and transforms into this more resilient aspect of itself. It's the new version of itself. And I believe we resurrect and we phoenix many times. That happen. Like think of all the versions of yourself, Jenny or John, that happened to you, right? The version of you today is not the version that was there 10 years ago, or even maybe 5 years ago as we were going through COVID. Many people like went indoors and, started questioning their reality and started going more inwards. So we go through these transformational periods and we each time come out in the new version of ourselves. I really started understanding that energy of the phoenix when I started doing plant medicine work. So when I sat in the jungles with the medicine of ayahuasca, and she was the one showing me like, ooh, like look at these parts of your life, this parts of your life. Be grateful for what they taught you, the lessons you needed to integrate. This person that done may be wrong to you, but actually there was a deeper lesson for you to learn, because all of these people that come into our life, they are mirrors or experiences that we experience. And each time as we develop those aspects of the ego and things that are not serving us, or relationships that are not serving us, sure many experience like relationships that were toxic, and the time we didn't know they were, and then we came out of that, we let them go. And so that's the energy actually that's really permanent tonight, where we like stepping into this next evolution, I believe, on a personal level and a collective level of where we headed into 2026. This was the year 9, the year of the snake. So there's a lot of shit going on. This is what we see in politics, and we see in general. A lot of people in my life experiencing this, a lot of emotional release in the process. And as we transmute into the fire, excited about what is ahead for us.
Was the the Phoenix Rising experience that wasn't the moment at the bus stop, was it, or was there another moment that was?
There
was
were
that
many moments after.
many?
I'd say much later. Yeah, I
Truly
didn't
united that.
Yeah, I think for me it was much later, like in my 20s and 30s, where I stepped on the path of fully studying shamanism and going into these different states of consciousness, doing a lot of plant medicine work that I've mentioned, and facilitating and helping people. I think that's when my phoenix really started integrating the lightness and the dark. Because we always talk about people who like light workers or star seeds, but we have to understand we also dark workers. Like we learning how to embrace both, and the void, the integration of the two is what matters the most right now. It's that embodiment, because there's energy and power in both. And so not shoving that, that stuff under the rug. I think now it's the time actually to pull all the dirt out and actually look at it, confront it, and see what the value is there for us. And that's the embodiment. That's when you step into being a teacher, being the role model, like just much stronger in your presence for others and just really shining your lights.
When someone begins working with the quantum field, what's the first shift they usually notice in their life?
That's a good question. I think the first thing is really this quietness. So yeah, so I think many of us seek in that. There's a lot of noise around us, just energetically. The quantum field is, what is quantum field? Let's just unpeel that, right? What is quantum? So our eyes can only perceive so much, right? It's very limited spectrum. We have we have gamma rays, infrared, we have so much more invisible spectrum. So it's all the energy around us. And that energy is infinite possibilities. So when someone starts tapping into the unseen and realizing, oh, wow, there's so much more going on here than what I can perceive or what I can see, they start recognizing themselves as this is just like a physical hardware, but there's also a soul, a software, and there's many more layers, many more light bodies that are around us. And so in the process of just sitting down, meditating, tapping into this informational field, you start shifting your brain waves, and you start also your rhythm of the heart. You know, like in many Native Americans, they have those shamanic drums and they go boop, 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 boop. There's like a consistent rhythm. So when you meditate, you synchronize in your heartbeat to the brain waves and it starts dropping into theta. So what happens? You go into coherent field. You drop into that dream state when you start seeing visuals, like kind of like dreaming, but sometimes with eyes open, closed. And in the process of that, you just really ground yourself to the rhythm also of this planet, because the Schumann resonance, the heartbeat of the planet is 7 hertz, which is when you drop into theta in dream state, you are 8 hertz and below. So everything's just much more quiet, much more grounded, because EMFs and 5G towers, all of that stuff around us, bombarding our field. The more we ground ourselves to the heartbeat of the earth, it's just much more quiet and coherent.
What's the difference between the galactic channeling and the shaman? And what can you tell them if somebody doesn't understand what that is? Could you give us a little brief description? Like, what is it?
What was the question about the galactic channeling?
What the galactic channeling? Like, what is it? Like, well, for somebody who doesn't know this stuff, you know, like, what is?
So you probably heard of channeling, right? So
I heard of channeling.
So again, back quantum field, right? All the information is there, including all the connections we have to other aspects of ourselves. So imagine Jenny, there's Jenny you hear, but there's also galactic Jenny that is in other star systems. She might be in a different body. She might be in Arcturian system or other star systems where there are other beings, right? You guys were showing UFO ships. What are those ships, right? Where are they coming from? There's a lot of visitors right now around Earth. Most of them are actually cloaked. So you want to be able to see them, but you actually can remote view into those ships. Everyone's talking about Atlas. So there's a lot of invitation. But there's also variations of ourselves in these different dimensions. So we all have access to our other counterparts, I would say, right? So when we channeling, what are we channeling? We're channeling ourselves. So you're probably familiar with famous channelists like Bashar, right? Daryl Anka and many others. And I actually have been on Bashar's ship, and I have, it's actually over Bell Rock and Sedona.
Let's talk about that, because we're
for sure. I can tell you, I have a lot of
Atlas. Like, so what do you think about this 3i
and I
Atlas?
know a lot about 3i Atlas from my perspective, so we can talk about that too. I try a remote view to these places. I actually had an experience in Sedona when that happened about 4 years ago. So, and now I have access. It wasn't something they established right away. And Bashar, the real Bashar Sassani collective, so Daryl is able to channel Bashar because that's another parallel self of Daryl. It actually even looks a little bit like him because I've seen him. Yeah. And so when I channel through my higher self, but sometimes my aspects, whether it's my guides or my Andromedan self or my Lyran self come through. So, or some other frequencies we tap into. So Galactic is just a realm of many of these star beings, but there's also in between, there's like dragons and fairies, and there's intergalactic, interdimensional beings we can actually tap into. So there's so many different frequencies. It's not just galactic, but I think where we are today, we talk a lot about contact. Galactic is the next thing for us. I think we, on the consciousness level, started to get more prepared for possibility of open contact. But many, like myself and anyone, can tap into these frequencies and have these experiences because it's a fun it's a fun experience, and it's very much like Star Trek.
John, you're quiet.
Well, first I wanted to say my father's mother's from Belarus. And she was Jewish.
Amazing.
Yeah, and she was Jewish. Then sometimes ancestry tells me it's Poland, but same thing. They're right next to each other. One of the books I had written, I put the light spectrum up, and we only see 4% of the light spectrum. So like you said, who knows what's around us? There could be spirits just standing all around us, other dimensions, that type of stuff. But, I've been doing research right now in the hollow earth theory, inner earth, subterranean worlds, that type of stuff.
We can talk about that too. I have a lot of
well, that's why I want to hear what you think about what's below. See, everybody's telling you, look up, get a telescope, look for 3i, whatever it is, Atlas. I'm not looking up anymore at lights in the sky because I think all of this stuff is coming from below. They're telling you to look up. That tells me not to look up. Look down.
So your question is about inner earth.
The hollow earth. What do you believe about
the hollow earth?
Hollow earth.
Yeah. I mean, I had specifically experiences many places in the world. So one of the things that I do, I don't talk much about, but since you asked, I get called to specific places on Earth to do certain activations. So I work a lot with the land, with the specific energetic nodes of the planet and the grid. So I'm a grid worker. So recently I was in Turkey, and there, I don't know if you're familiar, a lot of underground cities in the region of Cappadocia.
They're in Kuyu?
Daranku is one of them where I have been, yes, and many others. Daranku is just one city they have uncovered. Is actually over 300, if not more, cities they're just starting to dig up. I mean, it's levels and levels. It's incredible, right? And I would say these cities entry points to all Earth because I experience beings on the other side and a lot of. And you can see it's so sophisticated. There's no way a regular cave person, eons ago could have created this with with the tools they had. You just know there are star beings, and because I can feel frequencies and I can channel, I could feel the frequency of a lot of stuff on the walls and codes. So I was channeling these weird languages I've never channeled before. I would say these were Draco hybrids, so reptilian hybrids that helped with creation of these cities, and the language is very interesting. So that's one experience, very recent one. Another one that I had was in Mount Shasta in 2020. They too, there's many probably know there's Agartha network, which is a light network in Hollow Earth, and Telos is the capital. And so Telos again, I get called to these places sometimes in dream time. I even arrive there. Usually, a lot of information is given prior to even coming there. And while we were there with my husband, both of us are very kind of connected. there were beings that were communicating, activating us, showing me where all the portals are. There's so many, and they were interacting, and they showed me like the layers of the city. So this it's very crystalline. They have own, I would say, sun structure. The way, you know, they like plant-based, the way they live. It's a higher dimensional consciousness. Many of them Atlantean and Lemurians. They've been here a very long time. And more. So, I also, the same Agartha network, my first experience actually was in Machu Picchu, which was unexpected. I did not know about Agartha network in Machu Picchu, and everyone kind of is very connected to the ruins, but I found all the connections actually on the mountain, where during my I would say ascent, that's where all the realms existed, and they showed that smaller city was also connected to Shasta and many others. So yes, absolutely, John. There's incredible beings that are here. The messages they gave me in Shasta is that they are interested. They used to be coming out much more than they are right now, and they're actually waiting for us to rise in that frequency, and they do see eventually kind of reconnecting with us. So that is interesting. And I would say in some ways that frequency is similar to Bashar ship, because on a Bashar ship, you have a lot of hybrid children. And you're probably familiar with hybrid children on the show. If you're not, there's different races of them. There's Esasani Collective, Shikani, and others. And these children too, they're so sweet and beautiful. And they're very excited to come on Earth and be part of our collective when we're ready for them. So in these beings are all here, and they are interested to participate when we are ready for them, and we're not there yet, but I think we're getting closer.
How about, okay, there's two views of the hollow earth. There's one, the Agartha view, that they protect us, they give us some knowledge when they think we're ready, and they're the repository of the history of the planet. But there's a darker side to the inner earth, of demons and cryptids, and when Enoch was taken up, up to heaven and then down to Sheol, he saw paradise and he saw hell, basically, So what about the darker side of all of that? Do you ever come in contact with any real malevolent entities? And what do you know about a darker side to the hollow earth?
I think besides the Agartha network, there are other beings, reptilian beings, and other titans, and other beings that are there as well. I believe everyone is benevolent in a way that, everyone exists in their frequency bandwidth. So I don't necessarily believe in agenda that they're here to get us, or there's like hell per se. I perceive in plant medicine ceremony, you do get to perceive different entities, because as you drop in frequency, and that's what happens, especially when you take plant medicine ayahuasca, which I no longer participate in because she graduated. She said it's time to go more galactic and more expensive. So I work on more increase in my frequency, going 30 hertz and above. But if you drop deeper, you start perceiving again, because they all exist here, these other dimensional beings that are here existing simultaneously with us. But I feel everyone has their place, unless there are certain entities, attachments, or, the demons and fallen angels. I would say many of them are no longer here anymore. About 5 years, a little more than 5 years ago, there was a huge exodus of a lot of that energy from the planet. So most of the cases, I rarely, because I've done a lot of depossession work, been clearing people in New York City, and I've done all of that, and I can say very rarely see that level of possession. So we are shifting, and because we are shifting and our frequency is rising, these entities no longer really have a place to exist. They just cannot, because it's just higher bandwidth. We kind of moving out of 3D into 4D and higher.
Well, they almost ended up at my house because I've had 20-something years of demonic entities and malevolence and stuff. I'm serious, 100% serious. I battle it all the time, and I don't want to get into too much of it, but even just recently, I
just want to say, John, we don't battle it. You can't battle. When you battle, you invite in war. So the key here is, from quantum perspective, you are a sovereign being, and you're a being of light. So you command your space, your sovereignty, your house, your field, your quantum field, your shield, your field, but not in a way that like we shielding for protection. No, we expanding our field with our light, because the brighter we are, the higher is our frequency, the more we're in the kind of in the heart, in the love space. That energy just cannot exist in that vibration. So you command it out. That's it. So we don't fight it. I respect it. I see them having this, the darkness has much, relevance in consciousness as the light. The source, split itself to experience itself. So it doesn't judge bad or good. There's no such thing. It's what we perceive as humans. But for sake of our own evolution, this is our time to claim cosmic power, our sovereignty, and what serves us. So whoever has entities, usually because they allow that to have it, usually people drink. What happens when you drink? Your field starts having openings. That's why they call it the spirits. The spirits able to enter in. I don't drink. I don't
either.
But
I don't drink. Exactly. I don't do drugs. I don't gamble. I don't have any vices.
Exactly. Your field is stable and grounded. Your sacred geometry is grounded to earth. You in the pillar of light. That energy cannot penetrate you. So anyone usually who has that still is because of their way of being and how they are now working on, stabilizing their field.
Well, how do you stop bad luck that they cause you? Even, I know when something's in the house, the dog knows, animals are the best way to, barometer when something doesn't belong here. And, and I command it out, and I use the name of Jesus. I command it out in the name of Jesus, and it does leave. There were noises, and then it leaves. But every time something shows up, it's like the next day, boom, things go wrong. I get canceled from speaking engagements. It's just like one after another. It's like it's here to spy on me, and then all of a sudden I get bad luck for a week or two, and then it comes back 6 months later. So how do you stop that? I push it out, but then it's like here to just mess with you is what it is.
I think everything is a mirror of you. So it's really bringing reflection of your state of consciousness. So there is something for you to see, because usually that type of frequency doesn't enter your space, and it's not there to mess you up unless you want it for it to be messed up.
I don't want it to mess me up, but it always comes back. It always comes back.
So and you reap what you sow. If you think negative thoughts and demonic stuff, you're going to bring it in.
But I'm not thinking anything about that. I'm sitting reading the book.
Human mind always likes to find scapegoats and say it's them. They brought me the bad luck. But it's really us taking responsibility and ownership of our own state of consciousness. That is the important thing right now. And working on yourself, working on your own, where are you right now? How are you in your heart? Are you breathing? Are you in your body? Are you in your mind? Are you losing? Are you experiencing emotions that are roller coasters, or, you're more stabilized and grounded? It's like how conscious you are of the moment you're in. Are you breathing? Because we're so quick in judgment. And that's, I would say, the biggest vice of humanity and the level of consciousness, because we judge everything. But do you want to be right? Or do you want to be happy? And when I say happy, meaning stepping into another level of frequency and bandwidth where we operate from the heart and from compassion and love for ourselves, forgiving anyone who wronged us, forgiving, creating this type of frequency bandwidth in that life. And then trust me, that energy that you're just talking about will never show up for you, because that is not in my reality. You know, there are star beings that might show up in space right now if you connect to that, because there's a lot of guides and a lot of beings wanted to interact because they're here to help you evolve. But that type of low frequency, if that comes, you inviting that in. And so I invite you to just see, like, what you know, where are my thoughts? How can I quiet my thoughts? Maybe I need to invite some meditation practices or walks in nature, or I don't know, gazing at the sun in the morning, which is incredible, by the way, to, you know, open, talking about eyesight, open your perceptual lens. I don't know if you ever do that. I've been training my eyes for the last 8 years, and now I can actually in the morning look at the sun for 5 minutes straight. I couldn't do that back then. I would, you know, tears would come down. So we are able to do so much more, and we forget how powerful we are.
Okay. What's one thing you can tell our audience tonight they can do to reclaim their cosmic power before we leave?
Yeah, so I think I started kind of mentioning that is finding a practice, if you don't have one, that will promote presence. And that can be, you know, starting your day with some positive affirmations, or taking a walk in nature, or find a connection moment. So I think we sometimes so disconnected because we in this rat race, you know, getting to work, doing. And what we need to actually do is slow down and find that moment of stillness with ourselves and our own connection. And in that connection, maybe there are some, you know, unseen forces that want to communicate and give you a message, and that's really the channeling. It's just allowing yourself to be that hollow bone, to open yourself to connection and see what comes to your mind's eye. Maybe there's, you know, a song, maybe there's a movement. You are a channel. I just want to remind everyone, we are all quantum. We are light beings. And we are a divine instrument of light. We have access to everything. We do. We're all channelers. We're all shamans. We just forgot that we are. Yeah. So that's my reminder for everyone.
There you go, folks. Where can people find you? Your book?
Yes. So my website is dianadivine.com or dianadivine.com. My book is on Amazon. It's Mastering Quantum Creation, Awaken the Phoenix Within, Manifest Your Reality, and Reclaim Your Cosmic Power. And I also have an oracle deck, so I want to open just one card as we finish up. Let's see what the message is, guys.
Okay.
All right. So what's our message for today? Right. This is the card I got. So this beautiful girl. And it's called the Tone Gate. Creation through sound. Make a hum or tone. Use your breath, your voice, your intention. Open the way for creation to manifest what you desire. So this is also a reminder, sometimes we need to speak in the world what we want to create. So use those affirmations, speak them out loud. You know, what you want, you can manifest. And so sometimes we forget the sound is very powerful tool.
Speak it.
Speak it out loud, guys. 3 times.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was great having you on the show. John, thanks again for coming on and being my co-host and you're more than welcome to stay on when Tom comes back. He's coming back in February. Right. And have a great Thanksgiving, guys. We won't be on next week. We won't be back until December 4th. We have a great lineup of guests. December, January. It's going to be a good year. Have a great night, everyone. And we'll see you next time on Chasing Prophecy.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to Chasing Prophecy Radio, where nothing is beyond the scope of normal. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube for past episodes, live streams, and more. And if you'd like to be a guest or reach out, email us at chasingprophecyradio@gmail.com. Until next time, keep looking beyond the shadows